At the moment there's some concern because we see that the iron ore price is fairly buoyant and the coking coal price is fairly buoyant, but we still have the manganese price not really trending that and down at about $5 a ton and $450 a ton. Can you tell us what it is now and why that is?
Martin, I think the big thing started with the boom in the manganese ore prices in 2007. When the manganese ore prices went below up to $18 per unit. It attracted a huge amount of attention, and as a result of that there's a huge amount of overcapacity being created at the moment. If you look at South Africa only, what happened since 2008, we are a new producer and we are already producing much more than what we anticipated to produce initially. There is GPA that's going to come online soon. There is Kalahari that's going to come online soon. And then I also believe that BHP Billiton and Assmang also increase capacity. So if you just look at the incremental new capacity from South Africa only, forget about Comilog and Vale and the other players, then from South Africa alone there's going to be about an additional 12 million tons being produced within the next year or two. And that's about the same amount of manganese that's being imported by China. So whereas I still believe that manganese is a fantastic business and it will recover in time, I think for the next 2 or 3 years, is maybe we're in for a rough ride. What can change the situation is what is happening in China. China's manganese production is declining in quality. They are now mining down to 14 and maybe 15% manganese, where we're mining up to 38%. And I believe it's just going to come at some stage uneconomical for them to continue to use manganese. And that will then again create additional capacity, which will be good for the industry.
And talking about your own business, you said that you're above expectation. When I saw you last, you were going to sell, I think, 1.8 million tons of manganese this year. Is that target going to be hit?
I think we're going to exceed that by maybe 300,000 tons. We're doing much better than we anticipated, so it's going well. Again, I want to stress the mine isn't finished yet. We still have to spend another about 300 million rand, 400 million rand on the mine. It's still taking place at the moment, but we're running at full capacity. We're making use of temporary equipment to get the product out. But the most important parts of the project, the silo loadout facility, that was built 2 years ago. So we are exporting at the moment.
And are you still having to truck a lot, or is the rail facility up and running?
Unfortunately, we truck a lot. This year we will probably truck in the order of about 800,000 tons. And next year we may even truck more. In fact, next year we might truck as much as what we rail. For 2012, we'll increase our production. It won't stay to 2.1 million tons, probably go to about 2.7 million tons. We suspect about the split to be about 50-50 between rail and road transport. We rail to Port Elizabeth and to Durban, so between the two, it's about 50% will be by rail and 50% by road.
And when will your mine actually be complete, and what will be the capacity at that stage?
The capacity is constrained by virtue of logistics. That is what constrained us. You know, if we can double rail capacity, we can double production.
And it's logistics, logistics, logistics. Which way are you going to go? You're going to go to rail to Saldanha? Will you go to Kucha? And which is the best in your view?
I honestly think that ultimately we need logistics in South Africa. I honestly believe that in the end we will make use of every port that's available. I don't know if any of the 2 ports that you've mentioned, Kucha or Saldanha, has got the capacity to meet the future demand of the manganese industry. The choice is largely out of our hands. It's in the hands of Transnet. They will decide how to do it. But my personal opinion is that in due course, we are going to make use of Durban, we're going to make use of Kucha, we're going to make use of Saldanha. People
are talking it up. They're saying we've got 80% of the world's reserves. Do you think there is a business case there?
I think there's a business case, but the issue is logistics. I mean, you can't continue to truck 1 million tons of material per year to the ports. They're not only bad for the roads, but it's very expensive. It's probably going to cost us in terms of margin 140 million rand per year loss in margin due to the fact that we have to transport by road. So we prefer doing it by rail. So there's a huge business case to be made out for additional rail capacity. The mine is planned to be completed by the end of the middle of June next year. We at the moment busy with 3 main components: the run-of-mine loadout facility, and then 3 stacker reclaimers for quality control, and then the officers as well, but that is last on our list of priorities. So by the middle of June, we should be in full production, or we should have the mine completed, and that will mean that we can then start removing the temporary equipment. We've got temporary crushers and temporary screens at the moment.
United Manganese of the Kalahari, it seemed to hit the ground running. You had the advantage of being close to surface, and so how is the business? Have you got a robust business?
We're a low-cost producer, so we can follow the price down until the other guys fall out of the market. We produce a medium grade, 37.5, 38%, and then you get the better qualities like from BHP and Asbank, which is 44 to 48%. That's the high grade. But the benefit that we have is we are right on surface. So we're shallow, so our mining costs are low. The sinter plant is still a phase 4, which is still a possibility. But we have found so far that the benefits of a sinter plant doesn't accrue to the mine, but it really accrues to a smelter. So you will see that all the smelters around the world, all the sinter plants, are aligned to a smelter, like Samancor has got met alloys and so forth. We don't have a smelter at the moment, so at this stage it's still a possibility, but we are taking the decision, and every year again we relook the situation.
And actually going into alloys, going the full hog with the production of alloys at what's it, $1,300 per ton. It sounds good versus the $5 a ton.
I think at this stage it's not that easy to invest in smelters in South Africa. Electricity prices, first electricity is scarce, and then nextly the final thing is that electricity prices are on the increase, and that's vital for a smelter. So the investment environment at this stage is not conducive for us to invest in smelters.
And what about the market, the world market in alloys?
It's a very competitive market. There's maybe about more than 1,000 smelters around the world. There are about 5 or 6 big manganese ore producers around the world. So the competitive dynamics and the alloy business is very much different to that of ore. So even if you say the price for silicon manganese at the moment about $1,000, not many people can at that level make a living. We supply about 300,000 tons to a domestic producer. And then we supply around the world. We supply into Russia, we supply into the Middle East, we supply into Macedonia, we supply to Spain, to China of course, to Korea, to Japan, and to India.